We're going to be doing comparing and ordering whole numbers and decimals. The learning targets are I can locate whole numbers and decimals on a number line. I can order a set of positive and negative whole numbers and decimals, and I can use inequalities to identify the greater whole number or decimal. So the very first thing that we're going to understand though or review are place values. So you have to understand the whole digit place values and also the fraction value place values. So here is the chart. And if you look, we have the decimal point, and then I go tenths, hundredths, thousandths to the right, and they have a THS at the end. And then if I go to the left, I have my ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, and you would keep going. A decimal point, when you are reading the decimal, is actually the word and. So we're going to do a few practice. So I have my decimal here, and it is said 600, because I'm in the hundreds, 52, and 941 thousandths. And the reason it's 941 thousandths is if I have to look at the very last digit in my decimal place. Well, it goes out to the thousandths. And then I have three numbers after. So whenever I have three numbers, I know it's 100. So it's 941 thousandths. The next example is 01.6. So to say that correctly, we do not have to worry about this zero. It really doesn't even have to be there. It's just a placeholder. So this one is 1 and 6 tenths. And the reason it's tenths is because it only goes out one place. And if I go straight up, this is the column of the tenths. And then the last one is read 3,745 and 2 hundredths. And the reason it's 2 hundredths is because I go out two places after the decimal. And if I go straight up, then that is the hundredths. So you have to be able to read these correctly and also understand what place value you're looking at. So tenths, hundredths, thousandths, tenths, tenths, hundredths. So make sure you understand those and know how to read them correctly and understand that the word or that a decimal is read and, not point. Video concept number 2 is we are going to be comparing two decimals. So the important vocabulary word that was on the learning target is an inequality. So you know what inequalities are. It's just a now fancy name for them. So we have less than, greater than, equal to, and then we have less than or equal to, and that has a line underneath the less than symbol. And then I have greater than or equal to, and it has a line under the greater than symbol. So here is a picture of how you're going to compare two decimals. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to line up the numbers according to place value, or you want to make sure that the decimals are aligned. So you always want to make sure the decimal is on top of each other. And then the second thing is compare the numbers in each place, starting with the biggest number. So here it says start here, 1 equals 1. So that doesn't tell me which number is bigger, doesn't do me any good. And then I look at 2. Well, 2 equals 2 still doesn't help me. They're both 12, so I don't know really which one is bigger. And then I go to my next column. So you always start at the left and you work your way to the right, or you work your way to the smaller numbers or smaller place values. So then I look at 4 and 3. Well, I know 4 is greater than 3. So that means that 12 and 4 tenths is actually bigger than 12 and 39 hundredths. So then you're going to use the symbol to show the relationship between the two numbers. So we're going to use the greater than symbol, which is here. So 12 and 4 tenths is greater than 12 and 39 hundredths. Now, you don't necessarily have to line them up. If you can visually look at this and say, okay, I know that they're both 12, so I know I can't look at that. So I have to go to my next place value, which is the tenths place. And you want to look, okay, 4 I know is bigger than 3, so I know that 12 and 4 tenths is larger than 12 and 39 hundredths. So this was just kind of a really broken down version of how to compare two decimals. All right, key concept number 3 is we are going to be ordering decimals. So at the very top, I have decimals that we're going to order from least to greatest. So I have 14 and 567 thousandths, 6 and 94 hundredths, 938 thousandths, 6 and 902 thousandths, and 4 and 597 thousandths. So I'm going to show you the steps and go through how to make these in order from least to greatest. So the first thing is I want to stack my decimals, and then I'm going to put my placeholder zeros in empty spaces if needed. So if you see my red, this is where my decimals are aligned. And then I had to add zeros or annex zeros into certain spots so that way all my numbers had the same amount of digits. So they all have 5 digits now. So that's why they're highlighted, not for any other reason, just to show you that I added those in. So then, look, decimals are aligned. Now, we're going to compare numbers starting with the largest place value. So ones, tenths, whatever one is my largest place value. So in this case, my largest place value is the tens place. So if we look, tens is the largest place value. So if I look, 14, all the rest are 0. This is a 1. So I know that this number here is my largest number. So I'm kind of going backwards. So if I look, I'm going to write it to the far right-hand side. Right? Now, I'm finished with that number, so I'm going to cross it out. That way I know I'm done. And then my next one, since these are all zeros, I know I have to go to my ones place. So I'm going to go and look, okay, I have 6, 0, 6, and 4. So I'm going to look at my 2 sixes, and they are both the same. So I can't tell which one is bigger yet. So then I have to go to the tenths place. So I'm going to circle my 9s. And the tenths, they're both 9. So I'm now going to look at the hundredths. And these are different, so now I can compare. So I know that 4 is larger than 0. So 6 and 94 hundredths is my second largest number. So then I can cross it out because I've used it. And then I know that 6 and 902 thousandths is my next number. So you can see I wrote it down at the bottom, and then I'm going to cross out that value. Now, because I'm done with the sixes, I have to go back to the beginning. So I'm going to look at my tens place. These are both zeros. Doesn't do me any good. So then I'm going to look at my ones place. I have a 4 and a 0. Now, I don't need to go any further than that because I know that 4 is bigger than 0. So that is going to be my next number. And then I'm going to cross it out. And then my smallest value then is what is left, which is 530 or 538 thousandths. And that should say, oh, it should be 938 thousandths, my bad. So that should be a 9. So that is how you compare and order decimals.